Good afternoon, church. Welcome to the first video in a series where we'll be looking at what life looks like in this new phase of coronavirus, not being able to meet face to face and with the freedom that we have previously, reliant a bit more on technology and embracing that to the measure that we can. We're continuing as an overseers team to monitor the COVID-19 outbreak to ensure that we respond as a church in a godly and kingdom-minded way, not giving way to fear, protecting the vulnerable, and offering hope in our communities. Tim spoke on this on Sunday, and do check out his other video for the exhortation of how we can respond in those spaces. The recent government guidance is now for all people to limit their interactions as we seek to slow the progress of this virus to a rate that our healthcare system can manage. That's the overall strategy. Population distancing is part of spacing out the rate at which the virus grows, the rate at which people become sick, so that those who need the most intensive care won't all happen this week, but they can space it out over a period of time that is proportionate to the number of beds we have in intensive care, the number of ventilator units we have. That's the critical path. That's what's going to make this a much less dangerous scenario for those who are in that small minority of people for whom catching the disease does create health concerns. So in line with our desire to slow the interactions, slow the spread of the disease, limit the amount of time we're seeing large groups of people, we'll be not having our main meeting on Sunday, but small groups will be going ahead this week. As far as they feel comfortable in doing so, they know best their own membership and their own situations. We're continuing to issue the following advice, and there has been some update to that. So people with the key coronavirus symptoms, that's a fever, a high temperature, and this new continuous cough, the kind of cough that really does disrupt ordinary life. Those are the key symptoms that distinguish it largely from an ordinary cold or flu. People with those symptoms should not attend any of our gatherings, and they should be considering self-isolating in accordance with NHS guidelines. In addition, it's now becoming evident that before those symptoms become evident, and whilst people are still contagious, people often are experiencing a headache. So if you have a headache, we are asking that you just take a pause, draw back from the things you are planning to do, see if it develops into something more. If it goes away, then you can come back. If it does develop into symptoms, then we move to the self-isolation phase. So if you have a headache also, please do not come to any of our gatherings. We're also asking that people with other forms of infections, maybe ordinary flu or a virus of some other sort, ordinary cold, should not attend. This is because all of those different diseases do reduce the efficacy of our immune system, and we don't want to spread around other common infections that might be dangerous for people who will have a reduced immunity as a result of this main one. And if you are especially vulnerable, that's particularly those over 70 or with an underlying health condition, perhaps an immunosuppressant or particularly a respiratory condition, please do consider staying away from our gatherings and self-isolating increasingly. God has been speaking to us about three key elements that we are to be pursuing in our times together, and whether that's virtually or in real life. There is a call to praise and to pray in the midst of a world that is lacking hope. We want to hold on to our identities in Christ. And thirdly, we want to make the most of this opportunity that this situation provides to exercise love for our neighbours in meeting their practical needs and in praying. So as I've said, we will not be meeting at the Gold Mine on this coming Sunday, but we will be live streaming our content as we pursue these things together, these three things together. Quite what the platform for that stream will be, we're still working out. This is part of the test to see what our capability is to deliver into that space. We have a blessing of technical skill within the church, experienced YouTubers and others, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to put on an effective means of bringing hope and bringing connection across our body. We've also produced some cards that we can give out. These are very simple cards. On one side they carry our key message that you are loved. You'll have seen that from our previous outreaches. On the other side, it's a communication that if our neighbours are self-isolating or in need of help, we are available to help in simple, practical ways. Maybe it's just a friendly phone call. Maybe it's collecting some shopping or fulfilling a prescription. Maybe it's praying and encouraging. Whatever it may be that people are in need of, we can help to provide without contamination, without risking going into houses or having people come into situations that might be unsafe for them. There are still things we can do that will make self-isolation a much less lonely and a difficult time for our neighbours. If you yourself do decide to self-isolate, please do make sure that you inform your small group leader or the pastoral care and discipleship team, and we can ensure that you are not forgotten and that you remain cared for in that. So please sign up to our WhatsApp group or to our new mailing list, subscribe to this YouTube channel as well to stay up to date with the things that we'll be bringing out over the coming days as we go forward together into what God has for us in this time. Thank you very much.